Hello and welcome to the show. I'm chilling at home. Actually, I'm at the home office, and the kids are home from holidays, so expect to hear some noise in the background. Now, today I'd like to tackle two separate items. So let me consult my notes. Okay, yes. So today I'd like to tackle two separate things. First off, there's some ways I think businesses can improve their customer service, customer relations, all these sorts of things. Some training that you can give the people who man the phone, because people who man the phone, or people who man or woman the phone, however we say it these days, but whoever is attending to the phone today can be a very useful resource in adding revenue to your business, or the person can be a conduit through you are losing possible sales. So, in other words, that's one thing I want to tackle today. I just want to point out that for those of you who just put anybody on the phone to answer customer service calls or to answer regular DMs or SMSs or WhatsApp messages or things like that, the person could really help the business, or the person could actually be hampering your business. So it's something we should be paying attention to. Just don't put anybody on the phones without some kind of training. Then the second thing that I would like to tackle is this whole debate about, can money bring happiness and blah, 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 because I've been seeing some other stuff going around today. So I want to give a useful perspective to most of you listening to this podcast that the average person does not hear, because it's not a very considered opinion. So those are the things we're going to do today. And hopefully we'll do it in a short period of time. Okay, so I had an experience dealing with customer service people today, and that's the reason why I am making this particular episode. Now, okay, you guys remember how I have been complaining about these guys that owe me some money, a couple of M's, nothing big, nothing life-changing, but of course, every single couple helps. So whenever money comes in, we're happy. It allows us to do a couple of things. Now, wifey had been complaining, any small thing, wifey will say, oh, if only I had a fridge, if only I had a fridge, Although in my mind, I'm thinking, since the last fridge packed up and we threw it away, we've been living with the deep freezer and there's no problem, in my own opinion. But then my wife will say, oh, if only we had a fridge, be able to eat right. You don't have to freeze everything. You can just defrost some things easily, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm listening to her, but in my mind, I'm also thinking, well, we've been surviving with a deep freezer and we're okay. Because left to me, there's no point in buying a fridge. But the thing is, wifey has been going on. If only I had a fridge. If only I had a fridge. If only I had a fridge. So, you guys know now, those of you who've been listening, that last week I went to go and jack those people to tell them that, look, give me my money. You guys are stressing my life. And luckily, the money entered a few days after that. So I was very happy. So I said, okay, you know what? Madam has been going on and on about a fridge. I say, Sha, let's go and buy this fridge now. So, when Momsi was building her house now, the place that we got Momsi's fridge was from Fouani Brothers. That's Fouani. Oh, by the way, I'm not endorsing them. I'm just telling you guys that, that's where we bought Momsi's fridge. Because I can't remember who, like one of us bought something from them. Then when it was time when Momsi was building her house, Momsi's fridge, Momsi's TV, Momsi's deep freezer, we got from there. So there are a few people in the family that have bought from Fouani Brothers. And then plus, Fouani Brothers, like they've been in Nigeria for a while. It's a Lebanese thing, but then they've been in Nigeria for a while, and then they have offices, Lagos, Abuja, Kano, so they're around. They even have a distribution center in Makurdi of all places, in Benue State. So because of that, it's like a safe outfit to go and do business with. So that's how I got Momsi's fridge. So I just checked my phone and I saw that, okay, I have their customer service number. So I said, let me just call them. Let me find out what time that they close. Because I'm not just going to go and buy any fridge. Because, those of you who've been listening, you guys know the kind of person I am. Because left to me, I'll just go there and I'll just tell them, hey, Fouani bros, how you guys doing now? All right, cool. Just bring the cheapest fridge. Just bring it. All right, let me be going. That's how I'd select the fridge if it was left to me. But of course, I know if I do that, me and my wife will now start quarrel. As in the quarrel will now enter part 2. So I want to make sure that it's a fridge that she likes. And wifey is studying for her exams. She did CFA part level 1 and level 2. She passed it. Flying colors. My wife is a very sharp girl. Very good with numbers. So just level 3 now that she is preparing for. So I want her to finish her lessons and then we'll now go. So I said, let me just find out what time the store closes. So I now try calling customer care. But of course, Nine Mobile has really been giving me headache. As in, sometimes service just disappears. I can't call people, things like that. So I just send a WhatsApp message. So I sent a message to Fuani Brothers, the customer care, just to find out what time they close. So you won't believe, this is their response. I sent a message saying, "Oh, please, what time do you open?" And I gave the particular store that I want, because in Abuja they have like 2 stores in Gwarimpa, like one more store around NAF Center. That's National Air Force. And the NAF Center, they have one place there, and I think they have maybe like one place in, is it like Area 11 or so? So they have 4 stores in Abuja, and I asked for the closing time for one particular store, which is the store that I took Momsy to, and I think one of my cousins, like that's just the place we go, because they have a warehouse and everything is there. All the TVs are there, all the fridge is there, all the deep freezer is there, generator is there, AC is there, radio is there, blender is there, what again, microwave, as in everything, massive shop. So for me, that's why it just makes sense that, okay, if it's electronics, let me just go there, and in one place, you go and check all the brands, because they host like different kinds of brands. If it's Binatone, is there, Skylark is there, Lona is there, as in all of them, I just prefer that let me just go to one place, walk around, we select one thing, and then we go. Because I don't like that whole thing of we go here, get the price, go there, get another price, go here. So I asked for them customer care, what time does the store close? You will not believe the response. The person just responded, "This is Lagos, full stop." That was the only response I got. So I now typed in again, "Okay, can you give me the Abuja number for that store?" Then you won't believe it. This is what the person responded. "Check Google, call and ask them." That was the response. Let me repeat. I wanted to get in touch with the customer service line to find out when a particular store would be open. And the customer care line just responded, "This is Lagos, full stop." And I responded, "Okay, please give me the number for the Abuja store." And then they responded, "Check Google, call them and ask them." Then they left it like that. And I said, "Okay, thanks." Now, because I've always been picking up stuff from Fuani, and because I trust them, as in from my Kano days, I've been seeing them, and then up till now, and we've done some business with them. So I'm not going to let this kind of thing stop me, I'll go ahead. But that there's some people be like, these guys are rude. And some people will not like the negative customer service experience. And there are some people that genuinely, just because of this small thing, might move on to another place. So that is the problem with this approach. Number one, it's impolite and they're not courteous. So it's not good for the brand impression, and it's not a good customer experience. It's not a good customer experience, user experience, customer service experience, whatever it is you want to call it. That is not a good experience. Now, the biggest problem with her approach is that because this person was not willing to apply any initiative and was not willing to assume any responsibility for the conversation, they didn't do any qualification and discovery. So they didn't engage me in the conversation to try and figure out who am I, why I was reaching out, and whether there is a possible order. Because sometimes it is nice to know who is on the phone, why is this person calling, is this person a worker pass, or are they ready to spend money and buy something? But you will not know if your response is, "This is Lagos," and then your second response is, "Check Google and call them." If you have been put on the responsibility of manning the phone, or you're a customer service rep, don't deceive yourself about this whole thing. You have a responsibility for sales as well. Even if you don't have a quota, you have responsibility for sales. And the way that you answer the phone and the way that you respond messages can either make sales go up or make sales go down. So you should be polite, you should be courteous, and you should be willing to take the initiative on certain kinds of things. And you should have a certain level of proactiveness about you. Now, some of you will be asking, "Okay, we have heard you. He was impolite, and he or she was impolite. So what are you saying they should have done? What are you saying they could have done better?" In fact, some of you will even say that, "Look, really, what this guy did was nothing wrong. Because after all, can't you check Google? And yeah, it is true. I can check Google. And maybe the reasonable thing to do is I should have checked Google before calling the number. And I mean, you never know. But let's just take it for the sake of argument that the fault is my own. But from your own end, as a salesperson or as a customer service person, we always try to do the best to remove friction whenever we are interacting with the customer. Part of reducing friction means we remove the number of steps that people have to go through in order to do business with us. So if there's anything that we can do that will just remove 2 or 3 steps, we do it. Now, let me run through some alternative scenarios. How I would have handled it, or how I would like to train people to handle it if they're in this kind of situation. Somebody sends you a number saying, what time does this particular store close? They're asking you for an Abuja address, but maybe you're in the Cross Rivers section. The proper thing to do, in my own opinion, is not to respond, this is Cross River, full stop, and then send. No. You go and call Cross River people and say, I beg, what time do you people close? And then you get it. And you can even say, I beg, what time people close? They will get you the information. And then you can now text the person back and say, this particular store closes at so, and so, full stop. You can now give that number to the Cross River people and say, Cross River, I beg more on a follow up. This guy was reaching out to me. That is one approach. Another approach is, somebody reaches out. What time do you close? They're asking for Abuja office. But you are Cross River office. You now call Abuja office or check Google and get all the relevant information. And you now reply back to the person. And you say, sir, the store closes at 6 p.m. and you can call this number if you need anything from that store. You now paste the Abuja number there because your Cross River or your Lagos store. So with these 2 responses that I have seen now, you can see that this is a little bit more polite, and either of these processes reduces friction, assuming that the person wants to buy something. In option number 1, where you give the information and then you now tell Cross River people, Abuja people, I beg, more na follow up with this guy. This guy reached out and he wanted to know what time it closed. You see that you have cut out some steps in the process. You're reducing friction. You're taking some initiative. You're bringing people closer to a close sale. Because really, you don't even know why this person is reaching out. And then in the second option, you have done the same. You didn't tell them, go to Google. Because this thing about go to Google, you guys forget that if somebody goes to Google, you don't know that when they enter the Google thing, you don't know that on the left side of the page, if they're using desktop, in fact, it's even worse if it's mobile phone. When they do it, you don't know that even though they Google you don't know that your competition will show up underneath. So this whole thing of sending people to Google, it's not a very smart idea because you're letting people know that your competition exists. And woe betide you if your competition has gone to do Google ads on a special something. And maybe the person wants to buy a gas cooker. You say go to Google. They go to Google. But then as your number shows up and the address on top of it, you see the banner flashing. 25% off on gas cookers or something. You have now led somebody who was calling to you. You have now shown them to the competition. And this go and check Google thing is common. It's happened to my wife too a few times. It's not a very smart move to do. I know you people think everybody should be sharp and they should use Google, but no problem. Assume that the customer is a dunce. Provide them the information in the channel that they have asked. Sending them to Google, you're sending them to no man's land. You're opening them up to your competition. So those are some scenarios that I've just given now about how they could have handled it differently and taken some initiative, reduced some friction in the sales process, and provided the customer with the information that they needed in the channel. Now, if you remember, I said a problem with this is that they didn't even do qualification and discovery. This is how you can do qualification and discovery. Let's do option 2. Let's say the person checked Google and got all the relevant information, and then now responded to me. Sir, we close at 6 p.m., but you can call this number if you need anything from that store. And then now they ask the question, is there anything else I can help you with? That could be the beginning of a sales conversation. Let's say that they asked another question. Are you coming for an order pickup? Question mark. That could be the beginning of a sales conversation. Like, oh no, I'm not coming for an order pickup. I've actually been considering to buy fridges for a while. I just want to know what time you close so that me and my wife can come have a look. It can lead to a conversation that can go any number of ways. Now, okay, what time does your wife get off work? 6:30. Oh, sorry, by 6:30 the store would be closed. Would you like me to send you some models with some pricing information that you and your wife can look at today, and then I call you back 9 o'clock tomorrow to see how we can book an appointment for you to come into the store? You see how the conversation can begin to flow, and you're moving things small, just because you are asking small qualification or discovery question. Now, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, qualification or discovery is just where you're trying to ask questions and engage the person in conversation, because you're trying to figure out, who is this guy or who is this babe? Why are they calling me? Is there possibly money here to be made? That is what qualification and discovery is about. So I've looked at 2 questions now. Is there anything I can help you with? First thing I say, oh yes, please, I'm coming to pick up an order, something. Or, well, I've been thinking about buying fridges and this and that. You see, the conversation can go anyway. So anything I can help you with, are you coming to pick up an order? Then you can also ask another question. You can be assumptive. Like me, I always like to assume that there's money to be made. So for me, I would have asked the person, do you need help with picking out any items in particular? That is also one question. And it can lead to a conversation that, oh yes, I would like to look at models of fridges, but I really would like my wife to be there. That's the reason why I was asking about closing time. And then, of course, be a human being and engage the person in conversation. Okay, since I'm a man, I'll say, sir, I understand how it can be. It's the same thing too. In my own house, if I buy this kind of thing, I can know, and I don't consult my wife, this kind of thing will be wahala. The person will laugh and say, women. I say, my brother, and so it be. And then you continue with the conversation from there to try and figure out, how far are they from the location, or the price ranges that they have in mind, or whether you can send them models, or whether you can book an appointment so that they can call somebody up specifically in the Abuja store. Because to go and say that they should just enter Abuja store like that, well, it's good, it can work. But it will be much more helpful if you know that there's somebody in Abuja store who is a correct sales rep, and then you give them a specific name. Go to Abuja store tomorrow, 9 o'clock. I've already spoken to our guy there, Abubakar. He's very helpful. He'll be expecting you. That is a different, when you're handing off, that is a much more stronger handoff. Go to Abuja office. That's okay. It's not a bad handoff. But go to Abuja office. I've spoken to Abubakar. He will be expecting you and your wife for 9 a.m. Much stronger handoff. Abubakar, you've called him, you've given him the backstory, he is now prepared. When they walk in, it's not just total strangers. It'll be like, oh, Mr. Yede, I've been expecting you. And then the conversation will begin to flow from there. Oh, madam, I've heard so much about you and the troubles that you've been having about not having a fridge. Very sorry, ma. But today is your lucky day. We have so many brands available in store. We have everything from Binatone to blah, 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 blah. And don't worry, ma. I'll make sure that you won't leave the store today without being sorted. So is there any particular brand you had in mind, or should I show you what some of the more popular options are that we have in store? You can see that you set this thing up right. You're moving people closer to a sale instead of this whole Nigerian nonchalant thing of go and check Google or enter the Abuja store. No, there are better ways that we finesse these things and we do a nice handoff. We remove friction in the process. We give a good customer experience and we bring people closer to a sale. You see how, or rather, you see why I say that lots of businesses in Nigeria can double Some businesses even triple their output without spending a single kobo on Instagram ads. Because some of these changes that I'm talking about is just small things that you're training people on how to answer the phone without spending a single kobo on billboard or Instagram ad. This is how Nigerian businesses will increase their business. Because this whole thing of go and check Google, you'd be surprised. For me, this is the first time that's happened to me, but my wife, because of what I do, whenever it happens, she shows me. People do it all the time. Go and check Google. And then no problem. You don't want to hear what? Continue sending people that should go and check Google. You're sending away your profits. You don't know. So I've now looked at 3 different kinds of questions that you could have used to go into qualification and discovery and to start conversations that could have led to a selling conversation. There's also another one that you can ask if you don't want to be assumptive, because I like to assume. Worst case scenario is I assume wrong, the customer will put me in check and say, oh, no, it's not about this, it's about that. You can ask, are you calling for yourself? Or are you calling on behalf of someone else? Even that can be the beginning of a sales conversation. Oh yes, I'm calling for myself. I want me and my wife to come and have a look at fridges. And then the conversation will continue from there. Now, let me compare this with another customer service experience that I experienced today. Nine Mobile, they've decided that my business should fail. That's what they've decided. Because my number disappears for days at an end. But luckily, there's WhatsApp. So some people say, oh, bro, I've not been able to reach you. And then they send a WhatsApp message. Allow me to port now. They won't allow me to port. Even Glow too disappears. So basically, because of that, there are times that the whole day, no internet access, because Glow has disappeared, Etisalat has disappeared. And then the same thing with Wi-Fi as well, because Wi-Fi is also Glow and Etisalat. Sorry, Nine Mobile. But she went to go and buy MTN last week. But I'm trying to hang on to this number because I always give my phone number everywhere. Oh yeah, and if you'd like to reach out to me, the number is 080-6466-2140. Country code +234. Also my WhatsApp number, so you can reach out to me if you have any questions regarding sales and improving your businesses, getting your business to grow. So, because of all this rubbish now, I was tired. I said, let me call SpectraNet, because SpectraNet was my first love when I was in Lagos. The internet used to go, just like that. So when I moved to Abuja, I told my wife that, look, babe, there was this thing I was doing in Lagos. They're the ultimate. And we used SpectraNet for so many years until we moved to Apo. And service in Apo was terrible. Really, really terrible. As in, you have internet, it's constantly 1 bar or 2 bar, and you can't get things done. So we called engineer, we changed the router, we changed the position of the router, we used booster signal, all kinds of things. The thing did not work. And that's how we ended up with Glow. So it's not as if I like Glow, but you know how sometimes you're chasing one babe, the babe didn't agree for you, but her friend agrees for you, and then you decide to settle. I'm not saying that's what I did. I'm just saying that, some boys have been known to do that. Some girls have been known to do that too. Like, you like Kunle is your guy. You winked at him, but Kunle didn't notice you. But then, Kunle's friend, Sadiku, is okay. So Sadiku toasted you agreed for Sadiku. So it's one of those things. So that's how I just agreed for Glow. And I now entered into this abusive relationship. So I said, let me call SpectraNet now, my first love. So I called the engineer. I said, engineer, how far now? He couldn't remember me, but no problem. I said, oh, I'm the guy that you came to Apo, we were having problems, this, that. So is it so house? Oh, yes. How are you? Okay, I'm okay, not bad. Because of all those issues, we left, we're now on Glow, but things are terrible. So, but I wanted to know, we have moved house, we're no longer in Apo. We're now in this place. It's also around Gudu, not far from Durumi, but somewhere between, Durumi, Gudu, Gadua, that kind of side. How is SpectraNet service there? And then the engineer answered honestly that, sir, to be honest, the best that I know, the service is okay, but I don't think it's that great. I said, yes, sir, that's my honest opinion. I said, okay, no problem. And, regards to the family, that's how that conversation ended. By the time I got home, because when I made this call, how I just stop and record the podcast, so that's how I stopped and made a couple of calls. By the time I got home, I received an email from SpectraNet customer care. They're now trying to toast me back onto the network. And it's obvious what happened. I called the engineer. The engineer obviously called people in customer care. They say, listen, there's this guy that used to be our customer before. He left. He's thinking of coming back. Well, customer care, over to you. But this is where customer care dropped the ball. What they did was they just sent me an email. And the email said, here are revised plans. So that's where they effed up. They actually should have picked up the phone. Because remember, when it comes to closing the deal, picking up the phone is the easiest way to go. Somebody actually should have picked up the phone and called me. I started doing what? Qualification and discovery to narrow things down. Because you never know. You might have a conversation with the person, get an exact address, and say, okay, you know what, to be on the safe side, let us send out another engineer to come and check the signal strength in the area. And that could be the beginning of getting someone like me back on the SpectraNet. So you see how some small trainings that you can be giving to people who are doing customer service and who are manning the phones can be increasing your profits. But anyway, customer service people, they did the lazy thing, which is what any Nigerian would do, which is just send an email. As far as they are concerned, engineer from the field gave them feedback. They sent an email. So job done. They'll now take it on the sheet and they'll show their manager that, sir, I sent 200 emails this week actioning customer service, and then they'll pat themselves on the back. They'll think that they've done work. Which kind of work have you done? The goal here is not to be doing activity for activity's sake. We're trying to do what could be the most effective thing to engage somebody in a sales conversation and that would lead to us closing some deals. But either way, I have to clap for SpectraNet because they handled it better than the people from Fuani Brothers. Because at least the engineer got in touch with customer care and customer care got in touch through email to now try and see how they can get me back into the system. But anyway, I just hope that, especially those of you who have employees, even if you only have maybe 4 or 5 salespeople and then maybe one person is managing Instagram and WhatsApp or something, believe me, this makes a big difference. So there's some things to consider for those of you who have employees. So that's the first thing. Okay, we're already at 30 minutes. I've wasted too much time. Sorry, let me see. Let me check my notes. The second thing I wanted us to look at. So can money buy happiness? Because every year people start this whole debate, can money buy happiness? Now, this perspective I want to bring to the question. You people who keep arguing about this thing online, can money buy happiness? You guys are asking the wrong questions and you guys are being preoccupied with the wrong things. Happiness is as a result of growth and fulfillment when people are approaching their ultimate ends. Okay, that sounds kind of big, but basically, let me put it this way. When somebody has a certain goal in mind and they're achieving the goal small, that is what leads to happiness, regardless of how much money that they have, which is the reason why your child starts crawling and the first time they manage to walk 3 or 4 steps, even if they fall, they laugh and they are happy as hell, even though they failed, but because they made small progress. So long as you're growing and achieving fulfillment and approaching your ultimate ends, you're on the track for happiness, regardless of how much money you have. So if you are chasing the transcendentals, and if you're making some work in achieving the transcendentals are just, how do I describe them? In ancient Greek and in ancient Christian thought, there's this idea of transcendentals. Transcendentals are those things that how do I put it? Those things that are above everything else in this material world. Things like truth, things like beauty, things like goodness, things like unity, things like oneness. So if you're chasing truth, beauty, or rather if you're achieving truth, beauty, goodness, unity, or oneness, then you will be happy. Remember, this is ancient Greek thought, and then ancient Christian thought as well. So, in fact, that's the reason why Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine have the idea that the only thing that will truly bring happiness is when you learn how to walk with God and you are chasing God, because God is the highest good. So, that way, growing in those terms, growing in chasing the transcendentals or growing in achieving your own personal ends, you will find that this way people are happy regardless of their personal circumstances. Happiness is not joy or elation. That's what people get the confusion over. People think happiness is when I'm feeling good and I'm feeling all right with myself, or I'm elated. No, that's not it. Joy and elation are temporary. Happiness is a different kind of quality that lasts. And that's the reason why you can find wealthy people, people who are rich as hell, who are happy, and people who are rich as hell and who are poor. And who are sad. It's not about the money. It's not about the poverty. So you can find happy rich people. You can also find happy poor people. You can find sad rich people. You can also find sad poor people. So the money is not the main thing. The thing that is causing the happiness is the people, whether they're rich or they're poor, do they feel like they are growing? Do they feel like they are achieving? Do they feel like they are stagnant? Or are they chasing after the higher goods in life? Truth, beauty, goodness, oneness, unity. That is what determines whether people are happy or not. So, this whole thing of can money buy happiness? Look, it is the wrong question. And people should stop being preoccupied by all these things. In fact, don't join anybody who is engaging in this useless debate online. It's just a waste of time. So, how does money factor into the conversation? Very simple. Money is just a medium of exchange. Full stop. Nothing else. It doesn't buy a unit of happiness or it doesn't buy a unit of sadness. It's just a medium of exchange. So, to acquire wealth, you just need to make sure that there's some sort of value exchange. If you're a music teacher, there's value exchange and you get wealth. Because I'm thinking of what the children to do for the holidays. I like to get them a music teacher. Somebody who knows how to teach music, you can see that there's an exchange of value here. Value to me. And then money flows out. Money is a medium of exchange. Exchange value, you will acquire the medium of exchange and you will get some wealth. So if you're a music teacher, this is the beginning of how you're going to acquire some wealth. You get one client, you get return clients, you get somebody to partner with you, then you hire some tutors under you. Before you know it, in 10 years, you have your music school. Money is a medium of exchange. If you exchange value, you will get that medium of exchange, which is the money. It's the same thing if you're a crypto trader. There are lots of Nigerian boys now that are infatuated with crypto. They want some crypto. They want some place where they can trade crypto or use crypto to transfer money or use crypto to do this, to do that. If you happen to create a crypto exchange that can facilitate all these transactions, you are putting out value to the market. There's something people want to do. You provided something that can help them do that. There's value being provided to the market. Money is a medium of exchange. Value is being exchanged. You will get some money. It's the same thing. Even if you want to take something as banal as being a beauty queen, there's still value exchange in being a beauty queen. Because beauty queens attract branding and sponsorships and stuff like that. So there is value that is being exchanged because the publicity and the branding and all that is a value that the sponsors want to get so that their brand can be everywhere. So if you do a good job as Miss Nigeria or Miss Lagos or Miss Sokoto or Miss Universe or whatever of putting your sponsors in the right light, they'll see that, okay, this babe is not just fine. She actually is a very sharp babe. Money will follow the whole thing because they can see that you bring the right kind of attention and you're the right kind of diplomat, for them. So even if you're just being a beauty queen, even there, value is being exchanged. And through that, you can acquire wealth. So money is not about happiness or sadness. It's a medium of exchange. So stop being angry with money or stop loving money as the ultimate end because it's not. And then finally, money gives options. Remember when those guys were owing me and I went to go and jack them that they should pay me my money. Before then, I didn't have the option of a fridge. So if you don't have money and your wife is saying every day, oh, if I had a fridge, you're out of options and you're out of luck. Money gives options. Should I have a fridge or not? Should I rely on my deep freezer or not? What kind of fridge should I buy? Should it be 150 liters or 250 liters? Should it be the one that can make ice cubes? Or should it be the one that can blend smoothies? Or is it the fridge that is connected to the internet of things, so it can be ordering from Amazon? Money is just giving you options. How many more options do you want? It's that simple. Where should we live? Money gives options. There are some people who want to live in Abuja, but they look at the rent in the city and they say, Kai, at this rate, let's move to Maraba. Your wife might frown, but you say, my dear, don't worry, we'll cope with the traffic. It's because you do not have the option. And it's the same thing with Lagos. Those of you who live in Lagos, but you go and get houses that are right at the outskirts of Ogun. And then because of that, you have to wake up at 3 o'clock so you can leave the house at 4 a.m. You don't have options. Money gives options. That's what allows you to decide, where are we going to live? When can I retire? Money will give you that option. I want to help people in the village, and I want my grandmother's uncles' children in the village to go to school. How much money should I send them? Money gives you options. Should I drive an SLK or should I drive Toyota? Money gives you the option. Should my kids be eating eba or should my children eat tapioca? Money gives you options. That's all it is. Money is a medium of exchange, and money gives options. And the whole thing of chasing money is not because we are chasing happiness. It's just because we are chasing options. So, my own opinion, make money and give yourself options. But remember that happiness comes from whether you feel if you are stagnant or whether you are making progress in your goals or in your ends. But the ultimate goals are the transcendentals: truth, beauty, goodness, unity, oneness. If you talk to the older Christian sects, the Catholics, the Eastern Orthodox, the Oriental Orthodox, the Coptics, they will say that, look, yes, all these things, but ultimately, if you're not chasing God, you will not be happy. But either way, you can see that this thing has very little to do with money. Now, for those of you who are sad and who are depressed and who think money will cure you, I have some bad news. Money is not going to cure you, because if you're sad and depressed and you feel like you're stagnant, the money is not going to do anything for you, really. Because you're searching for something. You're searching for elation when actually you should be searching for, personal fulfillment. Am I growing? Or whether you should be chasing the transcendentals. What will make you happy is expanding your horizons. Pay attention to some wisdom literature. Change the books you read. Or change the kind of crowd that you hang out with. If you guys just finish every day, you sit down at the bar and people are drinking alcohol and engaging in idle gossip. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a nice way to have fun. I'm just saying that if that's your life, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I can see how you get stuck in the whole thing. Like, okay, if you were richer, you'd be happier. So, look for some wiser friends. Read wisdom literature. Start listening to podcasts around these sorts of things. If you talk to Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine, they will tell you, pray, engage in contemplation. It's also good that we have good physical health. That helps as well. And then for some people, medical interventions are necessary. There are some people who actually have to go to the doctor because you are clinically depressed. If you're clinically depressed, no amount of changing your friends, reading wisdom literature, and prayer and contemplation will help. I mean, prayer and contemplation is good, but the thing is, if somebody is sick mentally, the person actually is not well mentally, and the person needs to seek medical help. But either way, in my own opinion, make all the money you want, because money just gives options. Full stop. You've heard it in my own practical scenario. At least I have the option of whether to buy a fridge or to not. So if I want to tell my wife that, look, you know what, a fridge is not important, we're not buying a fridge, it gives me the option. If we go ahead and we buy the fridge and we want to buy 150 liters, at least I have the option. 250 liters, at least I have the option. If it's a fridge that also has an inbuilt vacuum cleaner and the fridge has AI and can type and cook or whatever, at least we have the option. So that's just it. Money is a medium of exchange. Has nothing to do with your happiness or your sadness. And then it gives options. So you owe it up to yourself to give yourself and your kids the most options available. And that's the reason why I think we should all chase money. Full stop. But either way, stop getting involved with all these people who say money can't buy happiness, because the discussion never ends. You can point to somebody who used to be sad when they were poor, and now that they're rich, they're very happy. Yes. You will also be able to point to somebody who was very happy when they were poor, but now that they're rich, they're very sad. So any which way you want to check it, you find those examples. So that is the perspective that I suspect that most of you have not heard before. But please connect with me and let's have business conversations about how to move our businesses forward, how to improve our customer service processes, or if you have problems in your business, get in touch. Let's see how many of these things we can sort out. So the number to reach out to me on is 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234. That is my WhatsApp number. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. The name to look for is Tavishima Ayede. My YouTube channel, Tavishima Ayede. Over 1,000 free resources there for you. Or you can just search Sales for the Nigerian Business Person, and the podcast will pop up on YouTube. But please, those of you who are going to reach out on WhatsApp, please send me a text message first or a WhatsApp message first before you try calling. There are lots of fraudsters in Nigeria, so I don't answer WhatsApp calls anyhow. And then for some of you who want to reach out, even if you're going to call, please call at reasonable hours. Somebody tried to hit me up yesterday, like around 10 something. Why in Nigeria now? You should understand some of these things now. If you've been listening to the podcast, I'm a married man now. So anyway, just use your common sense. That's just what I'm trying to say. Trying to hit somebody up at 11 or at 12 at night when the person is a stranger, that is a no-no. But if any of my guys or my brother or my mom or my father-in-law calls me at 11 because I don't sleep early, it's not a problem. I'll answer. I say, "Oh, hello, sir. You're still awake. I thought you'd have gone to bed." We discuss, we talk, and whatever it is, we get it handled. But you're a stranger. Nothing gives you the right to start buzzing people at 11 at night. Anyway, let me stop there. So thank you very much for your time and attention. Please reach out. I really like hearing from you guys. And so that's it pretty much. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.